Right now, your heart is pushing a red river through about 100,000 kilometers of vessels inside your body. Hidden in that river is a tiny chemical code that decides who you can safely receive blood from, whose blood could save you, and in rare cases, whether a pregnancy needs special protection. Most people think of blood as just red stuff. In reality, there are 8 major blood types: A, B, AB, and O, each of them either positive or negative. Together they form a kind of genetic passport, written by your ancestors and used every day in hospital labs around the world. In this video, you are going to meet all 8 types as characters. You will see which one dominates the planet, which one almost never appears, which can donate to nearly everyone, and which quietly holds one of the most valuable forms of plasma on Earth. And when you reach the end, you will understand why your blood type is much more than a line on a medical form. If you enjoy learning how everyday biology hides extreme stories like this, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next deep dive. Now, let's start with the workhorse of humanity. O positive, the crowd's lifeline. If you picked a random person anywhere on Earth, the safest bet for their blood type is O positive. Globally, roughly 4 out of every 10 people have O positive blood, making it the single most common type on the planet. That popularity makes O positive the backbone of modern transfusion services. Because type O red cells do not carry A or B antigens, O positive blood can be used for most patients who are also Rh positive. People with A positive, B positive, AB positive or O positive, especially when time is short and an exact match is not immediately available. Hospitals rely on a constant stream of O positive donations to cover everyday surgery, childbirth and road traffic emergencies. But this common type comes with some subtle trade-offs. People with blood group O, including O positive, tend to have lower average levels of a key clotting protein called von Willebrand factor, and often slightly lower factor VIII as well. That combination usually means a little less tendency for the blood to clot, which can translate into a slightly lower risk of some serious clots, but at the price of a slightly higher tendency to bleed in certain situations. The stomach tells another part of the story. Research has shown that Helicobacter pylori, the bacterium strongly linked to peptic ulcers, binds more readily to the stomach lining in people with blood group O, and they are overrepresented among patients with ulcer disease. So for this very common blood type, the same biology that helps protect against some clotting problems seems to leave a small extra vulnerability in the gut. A positive, the strategist. If O positive is the crowd's lifeline, A positive is its close partner. In many populations, something like 1/4 to 1/3 of people carry A positive blood, making it the second most common type in countries such as the UK and large parts of Europe. Clinically, A positive is versatile. A positive patients can usually receive red cells from both A and O positive donors, giving hospitals a relatively large pool to draw from. This keeps A positive shelves fairly well stocked compared with rarer groups that live on the edge of shortage. At the microscopic level, A-type blood behaves a little differently from O. Non-O groups, including A, tend to have higher average levels of von Willebrand factor and certain clotting proteins, which is one reason why type O is more often found in people with mild von Willebrand-like bleeding patterns. The same pattern means that, on a population level, non-O types like A can show a slightly higher risk of some clot-related problems compared with group O, although lifestyle and other risk factors still matter far more than your blood type. From an evolutionary perspective, some scientists have proposed that A-type blood may have been favoured in denser, settled communities where different infections circulated compared with small hunter-gatherer bands. That idea is still being debated, but it fits the image of A positive as a planner's blood, common, practical, and tuned for life in big groups rather than on the open savanna. B positive, the migrant's trail. Now meet B positive, a type that tells a very different geographical story. Worldwide, B positive blood is much less common than O positive or A positive overall, but it rises sharply in certain regions, becoming especially frequent in parts of Asia and more common in some African and Middle Eastern populations. If you mapped B positive around the world, you would not see an even smear of colour. You would see bands and clusters. Those clusters trace the echoes of old human movements, pastoralists, traders, and migrants who carried the B gene along land routes stretching across Eurasia and beyond. In the blood bank, B positive sits in the middle of the compatibility web. B positive patients generally receive blood from B and O positive donors, and they can donate to B positive and AB positive recipients. Because fewer people have this type compared with O or A, keeping enough B positive units on the shelf requires targeted recruitment in regions and communities where it is more common. Some research suggests that the B antigen, like A, may influence how the immune system interacts with certain infections or inflammatory processes, but the details are complex and still being pieced together. For now, B positive blood is best thought of as the traveller of the ABO system, not rare, not common, but unevenly scattered like footprints on an old migration route. AB positive, the universal receiver. AB positive is where the rules flip. Only a small minority of people have AB positive blood, often just a few % of donors in many countries, making it the least common of the positive blood types. Yet in the transfusion world, AB positive has a unique superpower. Because AB positive red cells carry both A and B antigens and the Rh factor, people with this type do not form antibodies against any of the major ABO or RhD antigens. That means an AB positive patient can receive red cells from any of the other 7 major types in an emergency, earning AB positive the title of universal recipient for red blood cells. The story does not end with compatibility. One influential study from the United States reported that people with blood type AB had higher odds of later life cognitive impairment compared with those with type O, possibly linked to differences in clotting and blood vessel function. However, a large Scandinavian donor study did not find a clear overall association between ABO blood group and diagnosed dementia, suggesting that if there is a link, it is modest and still not fully understood. So AB positive sits at a curious crossroads. It is rare, medically privileged when receiving blood, but may carry small, still debated trade-offs in other parts of health that scientists are only beginning to untangle. O negative, the emergency hero. Now we step into the negative types, starting with one of the most critical in emergency medicine, O negative. Only a small fraction of the world's population has O negative blood. In many donor surveys, it appears in roughly 6 to 7% of people. Yet it is used far more often than those numbers suggest. The reason is simple and dramatic. Because O negative red cells lack A and B antigens and the RhD antigen, they are compatible with patients of any of the 8 main blood types in most urgent situations. When someone arrives in the emergency department bleeding heavily and there is no time to test their blood group, O negative is the safest immediate choice, which is why it is often called the universal donor type for red cells. But for the person who has O negative blood, the gift comes with a limitation. O negative patients can safely receive red cells only from other O negative donors because any A, B or RhD antigen in transfused blood could trigger a dangerous immune reaction. That means O negative people depend on a very small pool of compatible donors, which is why blood services around the world constantly appeal for O negative donations and treat every unit like liquid gold. A negative, the rare planner. A negative takes the A-type story and adds the extra twist of being RhD negative. In many European populations, fewer than 1 in 10 donors are A negative, and in some regions the proportion is even smaller. From a compatibility standpoint, A-negative patients can safely receive only A-negative or O-negative red cells, instantly shrinking their donor pool compared with the much more common A-positive. On the other side of the equation, A-negative donors are highly valuable because their blood can go to A-negative, A-positive, AB-negative and AB-positive patients, as long as cross-matching checks out. The Rhd negative status in A negative also matters greatly in pregnancy. If a woman is Rhd negative and her baby is Rhd positive, her immune system can become sensitized to the baby's red cells and produce antibodies that cross the placenta, potentially destroying fetal red cells and causing a condition called hemolytic disease of the fetus and newborn. Modern medicine largely prevents this through careful blood group screening and injections of anti-D immunoglobulin during and after at-risk pregnancies, which has massively reduced the number of babies harmed by Rh incompatibility. So, A-negative combines the practicality of A-type immunity with the responsibilities of belonging to a relatively small Rh-negative minority. B-negative, the edge of the map. Type B negative lives at the edges of the statistics. In many countries, only around 1 to 2 people in 100 have B negative blood, putting it among the rarest of all the common ABO-RH combinations. Compatibility rules make life complicated for this group. B negative patients can receive red cells only from B negative and O negative donors, which means that in a major emergency, finding enough perfectly matched units can turn into a race against the clock. Blood services often flag every B-negative donation for special handling and try to keep a careful buffer of units on hand for people who need planned surgery or long-term treatment. At the same time, B-negative donors quietly support a much larger circle of patients. Their red cells can be given to B-negative, B-positive, AB-negative and AB-positive recipients if all compatibility checks are satisfied, making each unit disproportionately valuable compared with a more common type. If you happen to be B-negative, you belong to a tiny statistical club whose donations can make the difference between shortage and safety. AB-negative, the statistical ghost. Finally, we reach AB negative, the extreme outlier. Across most large donor surveys, fewer than 1 person in 100 has AB negative blood, and in some countries the figure is closer to 1 in 200 or even lower. On the red cell side, AB negative looks incredibly picky. An AB negative patient can safely receive red cells only from the 4 Rh negative groups: O negative, A negative, B negative and AB negative, because any Rhd positive unit could trigger immune problems. That makes each AB negative donation critical, especially for people with chronic conditions or for complex surgery where exact matching is essential. But flip from red cells to plasma and the picture reverses completely. People with AB blood, positive or negative, have plasma that does not contain anti-A or anti-B antibodies, which means AB plasma can be given to patients of any ABO type in most emergency and critical care settings. Because AB is already the rarest ABO group overall, AB negative plasma in particular is treated as one of the most precious resources in transfusion medicine, sometimes called liquid gold. So AB negative is both fortress and fountain, fiercely limited in who can safely donate red cells to it, yet unusually generous in the plasma it can give to others. Your blood as ancestral code. By now you have seen that each of the 8 main blood types balances reach, risk and responsibility in a different way. Some, like O positive, underpin everyday hospital work simply because so many of us carry them. Others, like O negative, AB positive or AB negative, punch far above their numbers in emergencies, surgery and intensive care because of their unique compatibility profiles. Your blood type is not a destiny, and for most people it is a supporting character in their health story, sitting far behind factors like diet, exercise and environment. But it is also a living record of migration, selection and survival. a microscopic diary of how your ancestors navigated infection, childbirth, and chance over tens of thousands of years. So now that you know how these 8 types fit together, which one are you? Tell your type in the comments and share the one thing in this video that changed how you think about your own blood. If you enjoy breaking down the hidden links between your body, your money, and your mind, make sure you subscribe, switch on notifications, and dive into the rest of our health, wealth, and psychology videos.